What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. We're here again tonight, Friday night. You know what time it is. It's a fantasy football Q&A. Damn, almost forgot what we were doing. How can I forget what we're doing? We're just right here already. Just opening the stream, whatever. But I see we got some people in the chat. Appreciate you guys being here early. Lots of questions to answer. We're going to be running for about an hour from 8 p.m. Eastern to 9 p.m. Eastern. And I'm hoping to answer your fantasy football questions the entire way. Look, let's just get right into it. Niner, first person in the chat, says, full PPR, I have Jalen McMillan and Jalen Tolbert on my bench. Would you drop one of them for Demario Douglas? Your thoughts on these players going forward? Yeah, look, man. Would I drop one of these guys? I think I'd consider dropping Jalen Tolbert for Demario Douglas. I just think Demario Douglas has a bigger role than Jalen Tolbert does in his offense. Demario can very well be the number one for Drake May, and Drake May has looked good in a limited sample size. So if I'm going to drop one of them, it's going to be Demario. I want to see what Jalen can do with Chris Godwin out of the lineup, with Mike Evans out of the lineup. So, yeah, man, that's what I would be doing. Excuse me, guys. I'm still a little bit sick, so if I'm clearing my throat a little bit, muting to cough or whatever, then that's what's going on. But I think I'm almost better, man. I feel like I'm like 80% of the way there, so just bear with me. Taylor says, "What's up, Andrew?" What's up, Taylor? Kevin says, "We back." Cody says, "Andrew, what up, big dog?" And then Kevin says, "Start Mariota or Winston down bad." I think of these two options, I would be going with Mariota. We saw what Mariota could do last week. I think Mariota is a fine play if Jaden Daniels cannot go. I don't think we have for certain the news on Jaden Daniels yet. It does seem like he's not going to play, but I don't know if we've for certain got him out. I think he's still questionable right now, but yeah, I'd probably go with Jaden Daniels. I mean Marcus Mariota, and he would be my play. Marcy says, "Hope you're feeling better." Almost. Appreciate you. Bo Nix versus Carolina, or possibly not 100%. Jaden Daniels versus the Bears. I don't think Jaden's going to play, so Bo Nix is the play for me here. Taylor, Jerry Jeudy, Christian Watson, Bucky Irving, flex 2. I'm going to go with Christian Watson and Bucky Irving. I'm not playing Jerry Jeudy. Marcy says, Zay Flowers, DJ Moore, T. Higgins, Devontae Adams, B-Rob, Bijan, and Hunt, full PPR. Probably going to go with 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. The 2 running backs, let's knock that out. I'm going to go Bijan and Kareem Hunt. The 2 wide receivers, I'm going to go DJ Moore and T. Higgins. The flex, it's really between B-Rob and Adams. I think I'm going to go with Adams here. That's going to be my, actually, I just spaced over Zay Flowers. It's going to be Zay Flowers. So Zay, DJ, T, Bijan, Hunt. Cody says, full PPR for wide receivers, Michael Wilson at Miami or Trey Palmer versus Atlanta. I'm going to go with, I think we'll go with Trey, man. We'll go with Trey Palmer. Jesse says, full PPR, 2 and 5. Just got CD, Daniels, JT, Cook. Damn, you just got all of these people? JT, Cook, Tracy, Bucky, CD, Amon-Ra St. Brown, London, Moore, Devonta Smith, Jason, Trey McBride. How do I upgrade RB3? Need to win ASAP. I think there's supposed to be a space there, yeah. So you just got CD, but how do you upgrade here? For me, you're probably gonna have to move. I mean, the obvious choice is you move Devontae or you move DJ Moore. You're fine playing CD, Amon-Ra, and London. You got to move one of those guys for the running back. So that's probably how you upgrade it if you move one of those 2. Bert, am I crazy for leaning Javonte Williams over Alvin Kamara in PPR this week? No, you're not crazy, Bert. In fact, let me tell you where I have them in my rankings right now, because I have Javonte Williams quite high in those rankings. I have him as a top 10 play. Alvin Kamara, for me, he comes in as running back 15 right now. Running back 14, actually. I apologize. But yeah, I have Javonte over Kamara in my rankings this week as well. So no, you're not crazy. BJ, hey man, full PPR. I need 2 running backs. I have Monty, B-Rob, Chase Brown, and James Conner. I'm going with Monty, and between B-Rob and Conner, I think I would go with, just double check my rankings. Conner's the play for me. So Conner and Monty. Christian, should I start Terry McLaurin if Daniels is out or go with Devonta Smith? Smith has just been disappointing me. Yeah, if Daniels is out, you're not playing Terry McLaurin at all. In fact, I made Terry McLaurin a sit of the week. I don't want to play him at all. Devonta Smith is the play for me. Shades, standard scoring, need 3. JT, Mason, Dobbins, Gibbs. Standard scoring, I would go with Mason, Dobbins. I think I'm going Mason, Dobbins, Gibbs. I'm not playing JT fresh off the ankle yet. Also, Amari Cooper or Zay Flowers in PPR. I'll go Zay. Just got offered a trade. You get Chase Brown and Wicks. You send McMillan and CMC. Hell no. No, hell no. You do not make that trade at all. Not even close. Vikings defense got me 0.6 points. Yay. Yeah, Gremlin. Sorry, bro. Look, not very excited about it. Obviously not the game we wanted to play, but hey, whatever. I digress. Yeah, thanks for making me relive that one, Gremlin. Got to be careful laughing like that. It's going to get me coughing, man. What do we got here? Going to start Zay this week, but if you were to bench him, are we leaning Ricky P versus Dallas or Leggett versus Denver? I would go Ricky P over Leggett. Zanda, JSN, Hopkins, Marv, or Pearsall? Yeah, I think I'm gonna go JSN. JSN would be the play for me with no DK. That's probably the play. Better full PPR flex start, Monty or McMillan? I would definitely go Monty. Any hope for Sam Laporta with the JMO suspension? Yeah, I mean, we'd hope so. I think he definitely can see an increase in targets, but how many? I don't know. The tight end position has been so ass, and they've had Sam Laporta blocking a little bit more, I think, this year than they did last year. Maybe Johnny Detroit's lurking. He's a Detroit fan. Maybe he can verify that, but it does feel like he's been blocking a little bit more. Is there hope? Yeah, I mean, you'd rather have less targets on the field than more. So yeah, JMO suspended. That does help Sam Laporta for a short stretch here. Eric, Madison or Pearsall in the flex, half PPR. I would rather go Pearsall. Don't want to play Madison there. That's a tough matchup for Madison. Alex says, how much do you trust JT this week? Well, let's run through them, because I'm going to pull up my half PPR ranking so you guys can hear half PPR. Currently have Jonathan Taylor as my running back, in that running back 15 range. So guys like Mixon, Henry, Barkley, Mason, Kenneth Walker, Gibbs, Bijan, Achane, Jacobs, Aaron Jones, Kareem Hunt, Kyron Williams, J.K. Dobbins, Javonte Williams, James Conner, all of those guys higher than Jonathan Taylor, but I have him in that tier with DeAndre Swift, David Montgomery, Alvin Kamara, James Cook. That's where I see Jonathan Taylor this week. So hopefully that answers that a little bit better. But I view him as a high-end running back too this week. It's just a tougher defense. Houston, they're number 4 against the running back position. They're only giving up 16.6 fantasy points per game to that position group as a whole. Coming off the injury, worries about the offense with Anthony Richardson. How efficient can they actually be? I think actually Jonathan Taylor really makes this offense better. But yeah, I have him as a high-end RB2 this week. What else we got, folks? I'm going to wait till y'all got questions in the chat. Look, I could sit up here and entertain too, but it's up to y'all. Anthony says, hey, yo. Hey, yo, what? Marcy, JT, JK, McLaurin, Mooney, Najee, Bucky, McMillan, Pearsall, full PPR. We need 2 running backs, 1 wide receiver, and 1 flex. Okay, so let's start with the running backs. Between Bucky, Najee, JK, and JT. I'm going to play JK and JT. For the 1 wide receiver, I'm going to go Mooney. And the 1 flex, I think I'm going to go Bucky. So JT, JK. Actually, I'm going to go Najee. JT, JK, Mooney, Najee. Marcy says, sorry for the long questions. My rosters are a mess this week. Hey, it's all good. Handcuffs to pick up going into Sunday. I mean, look, any handcuff that you can pick up and put on the back end of your bench at this point is worth the stash. I mean, when you're looking at high-end handcuffs, obviously being able to pick one stash right now that I think is a little bit sneaky, a little bit under the radar that people aren't picking up that I think needs to be picked up is Keaton Mitchell. Keaton Mitchell just got his practice window opened or the 21-day IR practice window. So he's a guy, I think he would work in fine behind Derrick Henry. He's a guy that if you can stash him, you can stash him. The problem is a lot of people don't have injury or don't have space on their bench because of injuries. Maybe guys like, if you can pick up Zach Charbonnet, he's probably rostered. Tyler Algier, obviously. Jalen Wright. Like any of these guys that are just handcuffs that you have space, pick them up. High-value running backs in high rushing offenses, those types of guys, they make the most sense. Trey Benson, if he's available, maybe something like that. Blake Corum, all of those guys. Where are we at? Big Sean says BTJ or Marv. Give me BTJ. Johnny says bourbon, vodka, or rum. Gatorade. I'm just kidding. I don't drink, actually, Johnny. So that's something that I feel like people have asked on the channel before. I don't drink alcohol. I just don't. And so for me, I'd be drinking just any type of drink that I can get, man. Non-alcoholic, I don't know, man. Whatever. I drink whatever. Trick says Jalen McMillan, Tolbert, Ridley, or Noah Brown. We in the mud here. I'd go with Jalen McMillan over those guys. Maybe Tolbert. Those would be the 2 for me. Wicks or Chase Brown at flex this week, half PPR. I'd rather go Chase Brown than Wicks. Aiden says, sorry if it is off topic, but just curious how long you've been making fantasy content. Did you make any other content before finding your niche? Keep up the good work. I actually love this question. And actually, when you guys have questions like this, I love answering the off-topic stuff. I think it's fun. That's why it's a Q&A and Ask Me Anything. I'll answer whatever. So I appreciate this question more than you know. I've been making content for a long time, man. So I started making content just for fun. My freshman year of college. We're talking like 2016. Started making random YouTube videos with my roommate at the time. We were just whatever, trying to be the next Logan Paul, trying to be the next whatever, YouTuber was doing the pranks or the funny stuff or whatever. We're trying to do that. We had a channel called Damn Good TV. You probably cannot find those videos on the internet anymore. I think we've scraped all of those from the internet, but we have them in on a hard drive somewhere. That cringe shit, but it was the start of the content journey. So we started doing that. And I would say about 2 years into college, I originally went there for business administration and was kind of struggling with whatever I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Switched from business administration to sports broadcasting. Thought maybe I could do some sports broadcasting because I've always been around sports, always loved sports. And then eventually found my way into digital media and film. And so I worked in a film studio for 2 years, did some stuff with them. Studio 76 was the studio that I worked at. And really been making content seriously since then. Some fun stuff on the side for me, personal projects that I've done, podcasts here and there, some about music, some about life, whatever. Like, just been doing stuff like that. But eventually, I started doing fantasy football content for myself and my own home league 2 years ago. did a year of content for my own league, and they were like, you should just start making more content generally and do it for everybody. So I started doing that last year. I'd say about a year and a half I've been doing this channel. And so I've been doing that for a year and a half, and 9 months ago, Nick Ercolano from BDGE, we had a conversation. It made sense for me to come over and help them with their Dynasty channel, and I've been doing some work with them, but been in the fantasy space for about a year and a half now, maybe a little bit more than a year and a half. This is my second season doing fantasy football content. So yeah, hopefully that gives you the little bit of journey in which I got here. It's been very fun. Definitely been an experience for sure. I didn't expect, I'm very grateful for Nick. He's given me an opportunity at BDG, which I think is great. Obviously, we still want to grow the League FFB and turn this into a brand of its own. That is my number one goal. But yeah, man, it's just crazy to think that a year and a half ago, I was like, I should probably start making YouTube videos on fantasy football stuff. And then 9 months after that, like, BDG is reaching out and talking to me like, you should do some stuff with us. And I thought that was super dope. So very appreciative of that. Alex says, chillest fantasy videos ever. I appreciate that, Alex. But yeah, man, let's go to the next question here. Kevin, Pittman or Mooney? I would rather go with Mooney this week. Edson says, got a lineup of Kyron, Gibbs, BTJ, Neighbors, Adams, Smith, B-Rob, and Kincaid. All of my league mates are scared to make a move with me because they think they'll make me better. But any ideas? All right. I don't know why I struggled with that one. Kyron, Gibbs, BTJ, Neighbors, Adams, Smith, B-Rob, and Kincaid. All my league mates are too scared. Okay. I think for me, really, Kincaid is not been great. If you can upgrade the tight end, fine. It's not a big pressing need for me. And other than that, like, maybe upgrade B-Rob. But this team is pretty damn good. BTJ, Neighbors, Adams, Smith, like, you're good pretty much all around. I love Kyron rest of the season, bro. He's been so good. And I can't imagine that. Why were people fading him this offseason? Doesn't make sense. Anthony, actually, I think we just skipped one. Bert, thoughts on this trade I just made? PPR. Joe Burrow, Breece Hall, Zay Flowers. Gave up Caleb, Chuba, AJ, rest of the team, Dak, Kyron, CD. Okay. So you give up Caleb, you get Joe. I mean, look, you really upgrade the running back position. You downgrade the wide receiver. I love A.J. Brown's rest of season outlook, but I like upgrading Breece Hall there. And I think even Joe Burrow might be a little bit of an upgrade from Caleb Williams right now, too. So probably a very solid trade for you there. Anthony, Pitts, Pearsall, or JSN is the last part of it. Flex two of them. I would go with JSN and Pearsall. I don't know if I'm playing Pitts. Dak or Goff this weekend and rest of season. Dak has burned me way too many times. I almost want to drop him. I would not suggest dropping Dak, but I do think you can play Goff over him this week. Rest of season, I hope it gets better for Dak. I mean, this week they got a matchup against, remind me who it is. It's San Francisco. Yeah, it's not going to be as easy as Goff. He has Tennessee. I'm probably playing Goff, but I want to keep both of these guys rest of the season if you can. Please rank Tua, Kyler, and Caleb for this week. I'm going to rank it off of this week. And for this week, the way that I have it is I currently have Kyler at 9, Tua at 10, and who's the other one? Caleb. I have Caleb Williams at 6, so I'd be playing Caleb over all of them. Excuse me. Do you think it's fine rolling out Achane and Hill this week? Absolutely. Tua back in the lineup, fully confident in them. Natural, trimmed, or shaved? Let's just say not natural. I'll take the other two. Alex, I have Kyler, Goff, and Nix at QB with CMC, Hunt, and Bucky for running back. Should I trade for Pacheco or another running back? If so, then which QB would you trade? I don't know if I'm trading for Pacheco at this point. I mean, you have Hunt, so I guess you could, but is the guy going to give you a discount? It just feels like Pacheco is still a little bit away from playing. I don't know if I would be doing that, but if you have to trade one of these QBs to do it, you'd rather trade Knicks than any of them. So I guess I'd trade Knicks if you can get Pacheco for Knicks. Trick says pizza or wings. I'd like both, but it's hard to beat some lemon pepper wings. I love some lemon pepper. Pick 2 for flex. Brian Thomas, Brian Robinson. Or is that Bijan Robinson? Probably Bijan Robinson or Mooney. I'm going to go Brian Thomas and Bijan. Luca, 12-man PPR, start 1 running back, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex. Wide receivers are London, Chase, Tyreek, Cup, Reed. Running backs are Mason. All right, so we're going to break this up. We're going to do this in parts. The 2 wide receivers, London, Chase, Tyreek, Cup, Reed. So you're going to go, I mean, you can't play Cup now because Cup's already played. But you're going to go with Chase and Tyreek. The 1 running back, Mason and Hunt. I would go with Mason. Oh, I guess this is not, you're not asking me to start them. You're saying this is a start 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, and then you ask me a trade question. My dumb ass, bro. What are we at? On IR, got offered Bijan, Marv, and Deontay for Mason, Cup, Reed. I would rather have Mason, Cup, Reed. My dumb ass, bro. Caden, full PPR, Pop, Wandell, or Shakir. I would rather go with Shakir. Dynasty is my life, says love it. I'm going to take this leap one day. I'd love to just talk Dynasty sports with cool people. Look, dude, all I'm saying is don't overthink it. And we might get into a little bit of a live conversation here. So don't overthink it. At the end of the day, you get to create content because you want to create content. I just noticed I have a hair on my chest. But look, the best thing I can say is if you're going to get into the content creation game, the content creation game is tough. And I'm not saying this to deter you or make you not want to do it. But there's a lot that goes into it. I mean, to make good, high-quality content, you have to do your research. You know, spend time making sure that you have the statistics, you have stuff ready to go, get comfortable on camera, make sure that you record, do all of that stuff, edit, post, all of that. Create thumbnails, graphics. There's a lot of time that goes into it. If you are starting this, and I suggest you do, start at 1 video at a time. Only think 1 video away. You don't have to have a timeline. You don't have to do it every day. You can do 1 video a week, 2 videos a month, whatever it may be. Whatever is at your pace and your schedule, do it. But just take your time, man. And I suggest make 1. See what you liked about the process of making the video. Don't necessarily judge the content itself. Judge the process. How did you feel about the way you spoke on camera? How did you feel about the way that you researched and the information that you gave? Do all of those things and learn about the process of making a video and making good content. And once you get to that point, you know, you'll get better and better. And the more reps you get, the better you get at the thing as a whole. So, but my suggestion, don't think too big term. Think on 1 video. Make a video. If you got time this weekend, record a video. Just talk some fantasy football on camera. Pick a topic, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you want it to be, and try from right there. Don't do anything more than that, and just take it 1 day at a time. That's my only suggestion. And maybe you don't need it. Maybe you do. I don't know. Feel free to reach out to me, too, if you ever have any questions. And I'm happy to always answer fantasy football or just content creation in general. Like, I'm happy to answer those questions. Now, you said roast me. I'm a contender, 7-0 with Baker and Goff. 12-team Superflex, half PPR tight end premium. I had 5 firsts. I just moved 3 for Lamar. Feel free to roast you. Brother, you're getting Lamar Jackson for 3 firsts. We're not roasting that. That's a dub. Kenneth says full PPR, half rushing first down, start Dobbins or Amari Cooper. I'm going with Dobbins. The Buddhist says, I didn't listen to any of y'all fantasy dudes on Puka and played him. I'm feeling good. I'm glad that you played Puka. I'm glad you're feeling good. I don't know who you asked because we didn't talk about Puka this week. We didn't even think Puka was playing till yesterday. So I don't know, who you asked, but I'm glad that you played Puka, brother. Soggy says pick 1, May, Knicks, or A-Rich. I would play, I think I'm going to play May. May would be the play. Chaka says, hey, would you trade Higgins and Amari for HN? Looking to upgrade at wide receiver or running back. My current wide receivers are Kupp, Puka, Higgins, TJ, Amari, DJ Moore, Olave. think I'm okay with you doing this. I'm looking at your wide receiver core. Obviously, having Cup and Puka is good now. I don't know if you really want both of those Rams receivers, but also at the same time, who cares? I'm okay with you doing that to upgrade the running back position, for sure. But your running back room feels good right now as is already. Kamara, Walker, Jones, that feels good enough. So I guess it's up to you. I think you're already strong at it, but if you want to upgrade it, that's not a bad price to pay. Keaton says, which stack do I start? Or do I mix and match? Dak, Tolbert, May, Douglas. I'd be mixing and matching. Probably going to be playing... Honestly, nah, let's start the New England stack. Where do I have May in my rankings this week? I got May as... Nah, I'm a mix and match. I'm going back on this. We're going Dak and Douglas. 1 QB rest of season, drop 1. Caleb, Kyler, Baker. If we're dropping 1, I think I'm dropping Baker, just based off of what we know now. No Godwin, no Evans for the next couple of weeks. It might be Baker who's the drop, man. Curtis said, or John Curtis says, please rank Tua, Kyler, Caleb. I think we ranked them already. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. But I'll rank them again if we need to. I'm going to go Caleb this week, followed by Kyler, and then Tua. Johnny says, historically, Dak plays better in the second half of the season. Agreed. We have seen that. Trade Goff, Kyler, or Knicks for Pacheco. I think we've answered some of these. My bad, folks. I know we're moving a little bit slow. I'm trying not to read double the questions, but at the same time, you know what I'm trying to do. You get it. Matt says, full PPR, pick 2. Marvin Harrison, Tank Dell, or Pearsall and D-Hop. Marvin and Tank for me. Thanks for confirming. ETN or Nick Chubb. Shit. I think Chubb. That's tough, man. Johnny says, as a Vikings fan, how do you feel after last night's results? Look, I don't really care too much about a loss to the Rams. You win some, you lose some. It don't really matter too much. I still think this is a good football team. The thing I'm the most worried about, and the thing that actually upsets me the most from last night, is the loss of Christian Darrisaw. And I don't want to understate how important Christian Darrisaw is to the team. I think anybody not named Justin Jefferson, Darrisaw is probably the second most important player on this roster. So losing him for the rest of the season, that hurts. Really dampens the good feeling, or I guess the expectations of which I have for them the rest of the way. So Darrisaw, it sucks, man. B-Rob, I think I still play B-Rob. I traded Metcalf for Marvin Harrison and Otten. W. I don't know. I don't think so. I think I'd rather have Metcalf. Pick 4 to start. Gibbs, Brian Robinson, Najee, Stevenson, Hubbard, Dobbins. Pick 4 of them. I'm going Gibbs, Hubbard, Dobbins, and Najee. Those are the 4. Marv, Rashad White, Tillman, Chase Brown in the flex. It's Marvin for me. I know he hasn't been good, but it's still Marvin. Rate this squad. 12-team PPR, start 7. You got Kyler, Darnold, Brees, Gibbs, Jettas, Lamb, Ferg, Otten, Higgins, Marv. Also got Chase Brown, Bigsby White. It's a decent roster. You're good on the starting lineup. Being a start 7, obviously you don't have to be too deep. The bench feels a little light. Bigsby, White, Tillman on the bench. It feels a little light, but overall it's a good lineup. Anthony with the Will Fuller or Wandell. Fuck it, just because we talk about Wandell so much, we're starting Will Fuller. Big Sean, what you think of my 10-man full PPR, 3 wide receiver, 2 running backs, and a flex? Kyler, Achane, Kamara, Bijan, Reek, Amon-Ra, Nico, Marv. I mean, that's a hell of a squad. Once you guys get healthy with Nico back there, it's a hell of a squad. Chubb or D-Hop? I think I'd rather go D-Hop. With Caleb and Kyler, drop Baker for a Dunze. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. Dynasty is my life. Says biggest thing for me is getting together the tools to get into creating my own content. Same league. Would you send a top 6 pick for London as a contender? I think yes. I would send a top 6 pick for London as a contender. I think he's worth it. He's still a young guy. And then as far as getting the tools together for creating your own content, you don't have to have all the tools. Don't put too much pressure on, having everything right away. I didn't buy a camera until I was a year into my journey. I didn't buy lights and all this other shit until, I was into it. I started with the camera on my computer, on my laptop, whatever it was, the little webcam built in. I talked into that and literally just, had a little plug-in mic, whatever. You can start as small as you want. It's not that big of a deal. I think just getting the reps and making the content is the most important thing. Ryan says full PPR, pick 2, May, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams. Pick 2. Drake May, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams. I'm assuming this is a super flex question because May can be plugged into the super flex. I guess May is the guy who I'd play with Devontae Adams over Garrett Wilson. Bert says, who was a guy that you absolutely loved preseason and is looking like a bust? So earlier this year, we did a My Guys episode. And in the My Guys episode, my favorite running back to draft this year was Travis Etienne. Not looking great right now. Been hurt, not looked efficient. But Travis Etienne is definitely the guy that I was the most excited about that hasn't panned out to what I thought. I faded him last year when they drafted Tank Bigsby, and then I looked like an idiot for fading him. And then I was like, oh, I guess Tank Bigsby isn't a thing anymore. Might as well go get Travis Etienne. Nope, Tank Bigsby is a thing. It was a year late, and now I look like an idiot twice. Thank you. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That's me, Travis Etienne. I ain't drafting you again, brother. Johnny, Carhartt or Dickies? Carhartt. I know I got the Dickies on right now, but Carhartt is the way that I would go. My grandfather, he always had the Carhartt stuff, so I guess that's maybe more nostalgic. Uncle Ted says Rashad Bateman is prime Ayuk 2.0. Love it. Drop Tim Patrick or Lil Jordan Humphrey for Lucas Kroll. I'd rather drop Tim. We know what Tim is at this point. Bateman, 1,200 yards, 75 catches, and 7 to 8 touchdowns is identical to 2023 Ayuk. Love it. Ryan says Superflex preparing for Daniels to be out. Yeah, I'd go May and Devontae Adams. Kraft or Otten? I would rather go with Kraft, I think, right now. Uncle Ted says, why would you draft a running back with sub 4 YPC? Look, brother, obviously if we could go back and see, I wouldn't draft him again, but yeah, I drafted him because I thought he was going to get the volume again. They didn't bring anybody new into the backfield. I don't know why we would have felt like Tank was going to be more involved, but I get it. Trade Mason for Brooks and Tracy, PPR. Trading to CMC owner and think Mason's role is questionable after bye. I don't mind it. I think Brooks' role can grow. If you want to risk it, that's definitely a trade that I am okay making. Uncle Ted says, go get both Rico and Cooks and win your league. No, thank you. Who would you start? Ramondre Stevenson, Rico Dowdle, or DeAndre Hopkins? I'm going to start Ramondre over these guys. I think I'm going to start Ramondre. All right, so we should be back caught up. I'm going to let a couple more questions get in. We got 25 more minutes. So if you guys want to keep chatting for 25 more minutes, we can keep chatting. Appreciate all the questions up to this point so far, though. Johnny says Tank looked like ass last year. He developed for sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, nobody could have guessed. Just the fact that Tank Dell went from a player with like zero role, like he didn't even get any carries at all, and then now this year looks as good as ever. So this is the Tank that I thought they drafted last year, and then they didn't do this. So whatever. Can I have your thoughts on D-Hop? Yeah, I mean, I think D-Hop is going to be fine. I hate to sound like a hater, and I swear to God I'm not being a hater, but D-Hop, to me, he feels like a player who's everybody is very excited about because of the name DeAndre Hopkins. I don't think DeAndre Hopkins has really been DeAndre Hopkins for a while now. He's still going to have spike weeks. He's still going to have boom weeks. He's still going to be fine. But at the end of the day, man, I think he's probably a wide receiver 2 at best in this offense. I just don't see the high-end wide receiver 1 that some people have talked about. But at the end of the day, he's a fine play. This week specifically, though, I don't know if I'm playing him until we see him in a role. He just got there. I temper the expectations this week, and then we'll see what he does from there on out. I traded a late 25 second for D-Hop. League mates think I'm stupid, but I think he can be a good win piece in Dynasty. No, you're good. I mean, I think at the end of the day, a late 25 second, that's fine. If you want to pay that in a win now mode, it's worth the gamble. I think the best days of DeAndre Hopkins are behind them, and I don't know if anybody's even arguing that. That's just kind of where I'm at. Yes, I dropped Tank in multiple leagues. I almost did too. Says the guy who preached ETN. Fair enough, man. Also, I have Tillman in my taxi. Is he worth an upgrade? Looking at him, D-Hop or QJ in one of my flexes. He might be worth the upgrade. Maybe see what he does this week. If he goes out and does it again, you definitely got to upgrade him. I didn't upgrade Tank Bigsby out of my taxi for about 2-3 weeks. I had to see him do it a couple more times. But if you need Tillman, I'd say go for it. If you're looking at him or QJ in the flex this week, I'm okay playing D-Hop in the flex if you have to. And let Tillman go one more week. Chase Brown or Tank Dell? I would go with Tank. Renee says, should I start Pitts or Otten in the flex? It's tough. Let me double check. I don't talk about tight ends too often. I got them back-to-back in my rankings, though. I think I'd just rather go with Pitts. Anthony says, I dropped Mahomes for Daniels. Thoughts? Did you really do this? Because this is insane that Jaden Daniels was even on your waiver wire. You got to be trolling, Anthony. But yes, you want Jaden Daniels over Mahomes right now. Would you move Hopkins for a second or just keep him if you're a contender? If you're a contender and you can afford to move Hopkins and get rid of him at this point, I would sell Hopkins for a second. I think that's a fine price to sell Hopkins for. There's a chance that the price goes up if he goes out and has a good game. If you don't need him, I'm okay moving him because I think the shelf life of a guy like DeAndre Hopkins is getting smaller and smaller every day, obviously. But yes, I would consider moving him for a second if I could get it. If you can't afford the depth or you need the depth with DeAndre Hopkins, I'm fine keeping him in a contending window. Soggy says Dodgers or Yankees. Look, I'm not really a baseball guy, but one of my buddies is a big Dodgers fan, so I'll probably just be rooting for the Dodgers because he's a Dodgers guy. So we'll go Dodgers. Would you trade Mike Evans for Devonta Adams in full PPR? Yes, I think I would. Because Devonta Adams is going to play right now. He's going to be able to get you some wins, and you should be able to go from there. So, yeah, I'd probably go Devonta Adams over Mike Evans just because of the injury. Before the injury, I wouldn't have done this, but with the injury now, yeah, probably. All right, guy countered and wants Andrews plus the early first for London. I have Bowers and Hawk. How early of a first are we talking? Like top 3? If it's top 3, probably not. 5-6 range, I'd be okay doing it. But yeah, I don't know. I guess, yeah, if you have Bowers and Hawk, you don't really need Andrews. I traded Mahomes for Daniels. Yeah, it made sense not dropping Mahomes, but trading Mahomes for Daniels, that's elite. Love that. Start Dak or Caleb. I'd rather start Caleb this week. Some dope Evans. Someone dropped Evans, I think is what this is trying to say. Is a good option. What is going on? Who is D-Rope? D-Rope, is that... All right, I'm sorry, Jesus. I'm going to need you to throw this back in here because I don't know what D-Rope is. Some D-Rope Evans is a good option. D-Rope Deontay or Ferguson to take him. I don't know what that means, bro. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm the slow one right now, but I don't know what that means. My bad. I meant start Pitts as tight end with Otton in the flex. Oh yeah, I don't mind you doing that if you need Otton in the flex. Bert says, I'm in the first year of my first Dynasty League ever. How do you learn to properly value draft picks as a beginner? Okay, so honestly, as a beginner, the best thing to do is probably not trade any of your draft picks. Like I would be holding on to those. I would draft your whole class next year, learn what that's like, do that, and you'll start to get a vibe for what that's worth. But watch trade shows. A lot of channels on YouTube do Dynasty trade review shows. Watching those will kind of give you an idea of how some of these trade markets are, what that trade value is. I would say watch those. We have some trade shows on this channel. If you want to watch some of our trade shows, you can watch those. A lot of other people have some good trade shows, but yeah, watch trade shows. And then I would say just hold those draft picks for the first one. Do it, try it out, see how those work, and you'll kind of get a better understanding once you do one. But you really only learn from the experience. So learn from experience. That's the best way to do it, Bert. I'm thinking about benching Terry McLaurin. What do you think? I don't dislike the idea of benching Terry McLaurin this week. I think Terry McLaurin has a very hard matchup against Jalen Johnson, backup quarterback play. I'm not against the idea at all. Debo or DK rest of season? I think I'd rather go DK rest of season. Would Mike Evans, when he comes back, be better than Devontae then, though? I can win my games till Evans comes back. It depends on how much this hamstring thing hinders him. He could be better. Obviously, it's going to be better with Godwin out now. It's a risk, though. It's a risk. So I would say if you think he's going to be better, yes, there's a chance he is. But when is he going to be back and when is he going to be healthy? I don't know. I'd rather just take the production that I can get right now, even if they're close when they come back. Pick one, Dowdle versus San Francisco, Irving versus Atlanta, or Singletary versus Pittsburgh. I would rather go Irving versus Atlanta. BTJ or Amari at the flex, I would go BTJ. Evans is waivers, is a good option. Drop Deontay or Ferguson to take him. My other wide receivers are AJ Brown, CD, or Metcalf. Yeah, I would rather. Who's your other tight end? I'd rather drop Ferguson to get Evans on waivers if you can get another tight end to fill in. My team is rebuilding, but I'm trying to win my consolation bracket to secure the #1 seed. In rookie drafts, still have 4 seconds. What's a good target to take me home? That's interesting. The consolation bracket to get the #1 seed in the rookie draft, or the #1 pick in the rookie draft, that's an interesting concept. 4 seconds. What's a good target to take you home? Trying to think, man. It's tough because if you're not planning on winning, do you want to sell your picks? I mean, any young guy, it's probably any young guy that I would be going for. Johnny spazzing. What is Johnny talking about? Dropped, maybe. Donnie says broken. DROPE. Yeah, it's dropped. He's trying to say drop. I understand it now. Johnny spazzed. My bad, folks. Sorry, Edson. Where were we at? Yeah, I target young guys if you have seconds. I mean, because you want to still rebuild. Got to drop 2 between Braylon Allen, Bigsby, D-Hop, Ladd, McMillan. Save me, please. You got to drop 2 of these guys? Oh, man. I mean, you probably drop McMillan. And Braylon? Maybe McMillan and Braylon. I think those are the 2. Donnie says, yo, what's good, my G? I'm following so many fantasy pages, I forgot the name of your page. It's the League FFB. But I appreciate you, Donnie. You the GOAT, man. With a contending team on a 12-team league, I love watching the League FFB. I hope you do love watching the League FFB, Johnny. Should I bench Brian Robinson Jr. or Cade Otton? I would rather bench Cade. Adams or B-Rob at the flex? I'd rather go Adams. Favorite scary movie? Yikes. I don't know, man. I like the whole Conjuring series. The Conjuring series is pretty dope. So I would say the Conjuring series. Maybe that's a cop-out, but favorite scary movie series is the Conjuring. Caleb says, keep it up, bro. Second best fantasy football channel on YouTube. Hey, we can't all be Nick Ercolano and BDG. I get it. Edson says, I need GT, my guy. I mean, look, I understand if you want him. Worth selling the seconds to win that constellation if you think about the upside. I mean, it could be, for sure. Next year's class is dope. So I would definitely... I'd definitely be looking at it. But here's the thing, too. Like, if you're playing in a constellation bracket to get the number 1 pick and you're selling draft capital to try and get a number 1 pick, you better hope that the players that you're buying are young enough that they can help you long term. The same way that the draft pick and the young guy that you're drafting would help you as well. So, yes, it's worth selling those seconds, but make sure that you sell those seconds for young guys you can continue to build around as well. Someone offered me Jaden Reed for my Brian Robinson Jr. full PPR. My other running backs are Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Najee Harris, Kareem Hunt. My wide receivers are Justin Jefferson, Amari Cooper, Ladd McConkey, and Demario Douglas. With your running backs being Najee, Kareem, Jacobs, Barkley, absolutely. I would rather have Jaden Reed than Brian Robinson, for sure. Just answer that one. Jackson says, had Puka and Hawk come off IR, really struggling to drop 2. I get it, man. I get it. I think it would be... It's McMillan and Braylon, maybe, for me. Caleb says Prime Minister. Prime. Psst, over my head, buddy. Big Sean says, thanks for the help, boss. Gotta head out. Appreciate you. Have a good night. This option, who's the better option the rest of the season? I think CJ Stroud is the best option the rest of the season. He'd be the guy that I have. Who do I start in my flex? Brian Thomas Jr. or J.K. Dobbins? Full PPR. Thanks for all of your help. I would go Brian Thomas Jr. there. I think Brian Thomas is the play, man. DK or Debo rest of season? I go DK. I thought we just had that exact same question. DK or Debo rest of season? Yeah, Adam, we did answer that, and it's DK. Sell Rashee for Devonta Smith, playoff team. I think Rashee's a better player than Devonta Smith, but if you're a playoff team that thinks you can win in a Dynasty league, I don't mind it. But I'd be trying to get something else added into that Devonta Smith side. Edson says, I should add context too. I have by far the most picks in the league. I have 6 firsts in the next 2 years. So I think some seconds next year is cool to pay. Also, I'm top 5 in fantasy points for. Just a tough schedule. Yeah, I mean, look, that makes it even better. If you have all the first round picks, then shedding off some seconds isn't a big deal. So yeah, I agree with the strategy. I'm just saying that if I'm selling, I'd be going for young guys. Adam says, my bad. All good, bro. Ain't a big deal. Also have the most points scored against me by like 200. Yeah, that sucks, dude. It's that I feel like that happens to me, every year, but I feel like everybody feels like it happens to them like that every year. All right, folks, we got 10 more minutes, and then I'm going to call it quits for the evening. That'll take us to about 9 p.m. So if you have more questions, we got about 10 minutes. So I'm calling final call on the 10 minutes of questions right now. Also, I'm going to use this opportunity right now, folks, to plug our Discord. I do have a free Discord linked in the description. If you want to join that Discord, it is the best place to ask questions when I'm not live. I try and get in there and answer questions when I can. It's a kind of a grind in season with a lot of content, a lot of other stuff going on, but I try to get in there as much as I can, answer some questions. The other benefit of being in that community is you see how we got a lot of people in the comment section. We got 250 plus people in that Discord that want to talk some fantasy football with you too. So even if I'm not helping you out, there's a ton of people, like-minded people, that will have that conversation with you as well. So strongly suggest you guys go check out that Discord. And if you want to support the channel too, code League FFB, you see it at the bottom. If you sign up over on Underdog Fantasy, Underdog, that is where you use the code. Deposit $10. They'll give you up to $1,000 in bonus cash. That can help the show as well. So if you want to do that, go ahead and do that. Ed said, this is dope. First time here. Def won't be last. You love to see that. And he says, I'm a film guy too. I appreciate the lighting. Look, I try, man. I've been trying to upgrade the lighting. I've been trying to upgrade a lot of this stuff. Eventually would like to kind of get my own studio space where it can really be upgraded. But that's probably, 2-year vision down the road where I can have my own studio space. But right now, home office, baby. Trying to do the best with what we can. And so I appreciate you being here, man. I like Ladd, but he's been underwhelming, dude, to that whole Chargers team scheme. As a contender, if you shopped Ladd and a late first, who are you targeting if you're going for it at all? I mean, if you can try and move off of a young guy like Ladd in a first, and you can get into that T. Higgins, get into that Devonta Smith type of tier, where you're getting to a younger, more elite wide receiver 2 type of player, that's where I would be trying to target and seeing if you could get that to happen. But you have to have the right buyer for that. Somebody who wants to split their asset into 2. All right, Dragna. I know this sounds crazy, but I have to sit one of Amon-Ra, Tyreek, London, or Lamb. Who's it going to be? Full PPR. I think it's London. I think you sit London. That's a crazy start-sit decision there. Jesus says, please rank this tight end for the rest of the season. Njoku, Hawkinson, and Pitts. Rest of the season, I think it's Njoku, Pitts, and then probably Hawkinson until we see him get worked back into the lineup. That's probably the way I'd go. I traded Chase Brown for Pacheco in an 8-man PPR. I'm 4-2 and I have a pretty strong team. What do you think? I don't know what Chase Brown. Let me rephrase that. I don't know what Pacheco is going to look like for fantasy teams down the stretch. I hope he's back. I'm not super confident. When he got injured, I did some research on the injury, and it's tough. He's probably going to have a production dip when he's back in the lineup, and the way that Kareem Hunt's been playing, it's going to be tough for him to get playtime too. This isn't a tough price to pay. It's fine. I just am not super confident in Pacheco. I probably wouldn't be trading for Pacheco if it was my team. Austin says, I traded Aaron Jones, Pitts, and Jennings for Bijan. I have Bowers and Amon-Ra and Neighbors, so I'm not playing Jennings or Pitts at all. I mean, that's a good trade for you. Also, with the Jaden Reed or Brian Robinson Jr. trade, league format as 2 running backs, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, and 3 flex. Yeah, I mean, I'd go Jaden Reed still. Are you sure you don't drink? Some of these picks are suspect. Sure as hell. Sure as hell, Johnny. Stroud or Purdy? I'm going to go Stroud this week. Austin says that's a PPR league. Yeah, same deal for me. I think that's fine trade for you. All right, folks, couple more minutes, 5-minute countdown here. Throw some more last-minute questions in here, and we'll get them on before we get out of here. Also, if you haven't already done it and you want to support us for free, hit the like button, folks. The like button is the easiest way to show this channel some support. So if you want to do that, and you haven't done it already, I'd appreciate it. Maybe run this thing up to like 30, 35 likes if we can, for the folks that are in the chat at the moment that haven't done so. Dynasty is my life says, have a night. Appreciate the help. Appreciate you. You hear that music. Every time this song comes on, I know this is when we're wrapping up the stream. It's timed for an hour, so I know when this song comes up, it's time to wrap it up. So this is the outro. Daco says, who should I be able to get for Reed? I've been shopping him around and can't get any bites. People are going to need to see another big game out of Reed for you to get bites, I think. But Reed is a guy that I'm very confident keeping on my roster. I don't know if I'm really trying to shop him. But if I am selling Jaden Reed at the moment, I mean, hell, I'm trying to get guys like Higgins, London, DJ Moore, like those types of players. I think you got to get them. And I think there's an argument that Jaden Reed might be above some of the names that I even just mentioned. So, yeah, I'm probably not shopping him if I have him. And people are probably not buying until they see him put another big game together. But this week's matchup for Jaden Reed should be great. I have him as a top 5 wide receiver for me in my rankings this week. Jacksonville, they've been bleeding points to the wide receiver position. 34.7 fantasy points per game, given up to wide receivers as a whole. This might be the smash matchup for Jaden Reed, baby. So stay with Jaden Reed right now, and let's rock with him. Edson says, if I package B-Rob and Devontae Smith together, what's a realistic trade target I can get? Tied for first full PPR redraft. Both are on my bench. B-Rob and Devontae Smith. I mean, it's all league dependent, man. It's so league dependent with trades. I would say you got to just find the right buyer. If you can get a guy like Puka right now, if you can get a guy like Neighbors maybe right now who just came off of a bad game, those would be guys that I'm looking at. Trying to get into that low-end wide receiver 1 type of range that I can get into. Renee, this is the last question, folks. I'm going to call this the last question. Do you think Reed is a start this week? Hell yes. Top 5 wide receiver for me in my rankings right now. Definitely going to be playing him. Johnny says Laporta is an afterthought for the remainder of the season. You heard it here first. Johnny says it. I said, ask Johnny. Johnny's the Detroit guy. He says Laporta ain't the guy that we thought he was. I still like Sam Laporta. But that being said, folks, that is it. I appreciate you hanging out with me tonight. If you haven't, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, go join the Discord, do all of those good things for me. And if you want to come hang out with me tomorrow morning, I would say 1 p.m. Eastern, so more morning for the West Coast audience. But if you want to come hang out with me and draft some underdog teams, I'm going to be live on stream drafting some underdog teams tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. But I have nothing else for you tonight, so I'll see you then. Peace out.